Well, good morning and welcome. We are at a different venue, as you can see, and when we picked this venue, we knew the turnout would be great, but look at this turnout. This is amazing. And you are here today to see history in the making within the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office. And before we get started, I would like to have us all stand and please give our flag of our country its proper respect with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And if you remain standing, I'm going to have our chaplain come up and bless today's ceremony. There he is.
Let's go to God in prayer. Heavenly Father, you said this is the day that you've made, and we truly are going to rejoice and be glad in it. It's a day like no other day for many of the men and women here that serve in the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office. We thank you for the officers we're recognizing that are going up to the next level. And I'm reminded of a passage in Daniel 6, where when Daniel was promoted, they said the thing that was unique about Daniel, and it's certainly unique about these men and women we're going to recognize, is he possessed a spirit of excellence. We thank you for these men and women. We thank you for their families. We thank you for their colleagues. We thank you for their mentors that have paved a way for them as they have gone out and fought the good fight and kept our community safe over the many years that they've served. And now we just ask a special blessing on our agency, certainly on these officers that we're about to be recognized, their families and friends, and the people, their second family here, the Sheriff's Office family, that is so proud of them because of this is their moment. And we just thank you for that. And as always, we ask that your hand of protection and safety would rest upon our law enforcement community up and down this Treasure Coast as they serve and protect to keep our families safe. We pray this prayer in your holy name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Chaplain. Before we get started, we do have some dignitaries here that I do want to recognize. Commissioner Kathy Townsend is here with us. Commissioner Linda Bartz is here with us. And County Administrator Robert Tipton is here with us, and we thank you, Howard Tipton. We thank you not only for your presence here, but all the support you have given us this past year. We have Attorney Jason Berger, who is the president of our 100 Club here. We have Randy Matchner from DEA here, one of our DEA partners. Randy, where are you? I know I saw you come in the back, yes. And the command staff is seated in the front, which they don't need any introductions. Everybody knows them. How many here are excited? Okay. I was so excited about today, I couldn't sleep last night. And of course, you're going to say, why is the sheriff excited? I could tell you, like I tell you at every promotional ceremony, there is nothing that I get to do as sheriff that is more gratifying than promotions. To see our people excel, to see our people grow professionally, personally, to reach this level of leadership, to better serve our agency, to better serve our community, there's nothing like it. And from me, sitting at the top, looking down at them and getting to work with them, there's nothing like it. To the honorees here today, I know this road has been very hard. You have committed your personal excellence, your professional excellence, and your education to reach this point. And I'm going to share with you, as I went through all of your files, there were some common themes that was noted within all 10 of you here. The first was you were committed to seeking higher education. 2, you had what was described as an enthusiasm, and I'll actually expand on it. I'm going to say a passion. You had a passion for what you did. And lastly, there was a commitment for you to serve not only within and throughout our agency, but within our community. And for that, I thank you. To the families here, let me see the families. Yeah? Their journey has not been alone. You have been along for the ride. And you, I want to acknowledge, are probably one of the most important factors of this whole equation here. You are the one who supported them. You are the one that encouraged them. And Ashley and I just had this private conversation. She's the one that pushed Rod to go back to school, right, Ashley? Yeah, yeah. So you have played an important part in this whole process. And although you might look at this and say, gosh, my work is done, I'm telling you, it's only just beginning. Your job has only just begun. And the reason being is, as these individuals move up leadership roles, what happens? Well, their responsibilities increase, their stress increases, and they're going to need you now more than ever. And we know statistically, law enforcement profession has a higher incidence of heart attack, stroke, alcoholism, drug abuse, divorce, and this is the worst one of all, double the national average for suicide. Why is that? Why do all these infirmities affect the law enforcement profession? Well, there is a researcher who has coined a phrase that we all know. You might have witnessed it, but you really didn't know what you were seeing, and that phrase is hypervigilance. How many have ever heard that before? Hypervigilance. Now, most of us in the law enforcement arena have heard about it. Family members, I know you've seen it, but you didn't know what it was called, and let me just share with you what it is. Dr. Kevin Gilmartin, in his book, talks about the law enforcement profession always being on the job. 24 hours a day, every second, they're thinking about work. And the prime example of this happens to me all the time. Let's say that as a family unit, you're going out to dinner. You could make reservations, or you could just walk into a restaurant, and there's like 15 empty tables in the front of the restaurant. And your loved one walks right by them, goes all the way in the back to a table in the corner, which is usually near the restrooms or the kitchen, and they sit there. And of course you say, what the heck are you doing sitting way back here when you just passed 15 tables? And what is their answer? I can't sit near the front door. God, if something bad happens, I got to be where I could see what's going on. And then it gets worse during dinner, because as soon as the waitress or waiter comes, they look them, size them up, and then if they could peer in the kitchen, they want to see who's in there cooking the food. Why is that? Oh, yeah, you know why. God forbid if that person was arrested by your loved one because you're getting out of that restaurant as fast as you came in. You're getting out. That's called hypervigilance. It happens every day to these guys, all the time. So as family members, as they increase their leadership roles and they increase their stress, you, and I'm going to rely on you, you have to be my balancing beam. You're the ones that are going to say, you know what? Let's go for a walk on the beach tonight, just to relax. Now, you're going to have to concede he's going to probably have a gun in his pocket and a gun on his ankle and maybe a gun hidden in the car. Let's join a bowling league just to get out one night a week as a family. You're going to have to concede there's going to probably be an off-duty gun in the bowling bag. How about let's just go walk on the jetty. You're going to have to concede, or the movies. That's the new one. Let's go to the movies. Night out. We're going to go to the movies. You're going to have to concede that we're going to sit way in the back, or you're going to sit along the aisles closest to the wall, because after the movie shootings that have plagued the country, that's where cops sit now. They never sit in the middle anymore. So those are things that you are going to have to concede to them, but you have to be the ones that enforce that they get out and get away from the job and decompress. And that will keep them healthy for you and for me. So will you all do that for me? Yes? Good. That's an important part of it. One common theme that I looked at in all of these files of these 10 people today is that early on in their careers, the supervisor who was evaluating them picked up a couple of things about them. The first thing was their work ethic. They had an unbelievable work ethic. Secondly, they already had the traits to be a leader early on in their career. And in fact, the supervisor doing the evaluation says, I predict that this person will be a leader in the agency in the future. And let me tell you, to the honorees here today, that is one heck of a trait to have early on in your career, that people around you are seeing that you are going to be a future leader. People never improve unless they look to some standard or higher or better thing than themselves. To the honorees here today, again, I thank you for your commitment to raising the bar in your lives, to raising the standard to reach this milestone. And this milestone today includes 10 people being promoted, over 177 years of service to not only our agency, but our community. Now, where are the new sergeants? One over there, one here, one here. Where's the other one? We have 4 new sergeants. I'm going to kind of direct this next couple minutes to you, and the reason is the current sergeants have already heard it, and the lieutenants have already heard it twice. But the new sergeants, this is a new leadership role for you. And as the person on the Wheaties box says, champions are made. They're not just made up. You earn to be a champion. If you think what we do today by pinning a gold badge on you and putting stripes on you makes you a leader, you're wrong. You're destined for failure. What makes you a leader is your leadership skills and the respect that you will receive from your peers as well as your subordinates. And let me tell you the leadership skills that I think are most important and have already been identified in most of you. First of all, motivation. You want to motivate your people. You don't want to humiliate them. You want to instill pride in your people. You don't want to embarrass them anywhere in any of your decision making. You want to inspire them. And in doing that, you can get your people to do just about anything that you want. Before I tell you what I think is the most important part of what is going to be required of you, I'm going to go back to a Civil War story. And I know this is factual because Major Ty told me this story, and he said he was there. Right? Yeah, of course.
Thanks, boss.
During the Civil War, there was this guy in the South that was just kicking butt, and his name was General Lee. And as he progressed all through the South, he was either injuring or killing Northern generals to an unbelievable rate. So President Lincoln looked out and he said, we have to stop this guy somehow, some way. And no one really had an answer. So President Lincoln thought about it, and he remembered that there was a commander during the Mexican-American Wars. And this commander, although unassuming, although not well educated, although not a career soldier, he was known for a couple things. First of all, he was known for picking the right people to get the job done. And secondly, he was known to motivate his troops to get anything done. And that general was General Grant. And General Grant came from a very modest family. His family owned a tanning business, and he actually worked in the tannery. And he gets the letter from the president asking him to be the general of the army, and he accepts. And when he arrives at his post, the criticism is abound. How is this guy going to defeat General Lee? General Lee is a legend. And Grant just lets it roll off his back, and he starts his mission. And he picks the right people around him, and before you know it, he's winning battles in Mississippi, and he's traveling to Tennessee, and he's winning battles. And he goes into Alabama, and he's winning battles. And he's into North Georgia, and he's winning battles. And before you know it, he's on the tail of General Lee. And General Lee does something no one ever thought he would do. He retreats to his home state of Virginia. And unexpectedly, Grant follows him. He's going into enemy territory on the tail of General Lee. And he's going and he's going and he's going. And the fight breaks out at a little town. Does anybody know the name of the town? What is it?
Gettysburg?
Nope, not Gettysburg. Appomattox, Virginia. And it's an 11-day battle. And they battle, and on the 11th day, which was April 9th, 1865. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. Remember? General Lee realizes he is totally surrounded. 30,000 men are brought down. They're surrounded by General Grant. And General Lee sends the note, says, I have to surrender. Unheard of. No one ever thought this would happen. So they make plans to do the surrender treaty, and they pick a house in Appomattox. And General Lee shows up on his horse with his commanders, and he's dressed to the nines. It looks like he just came out of a magazine. His hair is cut, he's clean shaven, his uniform is pressed, his shoes are polished, all of his brass is clean, and he goes in and he has to wait for General Grant. And while he's waiting, all of his men are saying, we don't think he's going to show up. We don't think he's going to show up. And here comes Grant through the door. Some historians describe him as unrecognizable. His uniform is tattered. It's full of mud. He's missing one heel off his boot, which the assumption is it was shot off in the battle. One of his epaulets is shot off. And he goes up to the table to sign the treaty, and he stinks. He stinks so bad that the comments are, oh my gosh, we got to sign it and get him out of the room. And the reason why he stinks is 11 days he fought shoulder to shoulder with his men, never bathing, never shaving. He didn't even hardly eat. And as they're signing the treaty, Lee's men look at Lee and said, how did we lose this war to him? Look at him. How do we lose this war to him? And Grant's men said, you look at him. He would never let us lose a battle to you. You look at him. And the treaty was signed, and shortly thereafter, the war ended. From that war, politicians, generals, community leaders said, listen, we need to write down what General Grant did, not only during the war, but during his life. And if you haven't read them, the Memoirs of General Grant, great book. The other great book is a leadership book called Cigars, Whiskey, and Winning, the leadership skills of General Grant. And I'm going to pick out one thing that he wrote in that book that I want to make sure that I read it just the way he wrote it. Lesson number 1. Good leaders realize they cannot succeed if the people working for them are not successful. Therefore, they empower their people and do everything humanly possible to help ensure their success. Everything humanly possible to help ensure their success. The most important part of your new role will be building confidence and ensuring success in your subordinates. If your subordinates fail, then you have failed in your mission. But I have all the confidence that you will not let that happen. I'm very, very proud of our agency. I'm very, very proud of each and every one of you. With these new leaders in place, I really, really feel assured that the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office has a very bright future. I wish all of you the best, and I look forward to your future leadership with us. And with that, by alphabetical order, we are going to start our honorees. And their first one is Robert Barton. Bob, if you can come on up. Robert, affectionately called Rob Barton, was born and raised in Fort Pierce and graduated high school in 1988 from Fort Pierce Central High. Rob continued his education and completed his Associate of Science degree in Criminal Justice at Columbia Southern University in 2017. Rob completed the Basic Recruit Correction Officer Academy at Indian River State College in 1991 and was hired by the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office as a detention deputy over 27 years ago. While in the Department of Detention, Rob was assigned to General Population and Transportation. In June of 1997, Rob achieved the rank of Master Deputy while still assigned to the Department of Detention. In 1998, Rob completed the Corrections to Law Enforcement Crossover Program at Indian River State College and became a Florida Certified Law Enforcement Officer and was transferred to the Traffic Unit where he operated the Batmobile for 2 years, resulting in numerous DUI-related arrests. In February of 2000, Rob transferred to the District Patrol where he became a Field Training Officer. In February of 2003, Rob was transferred to the Criminal Investigations Division and reclassified as a detective. During his time in the Detective Bureau, Rob investigated persons and property crimes, and in 2003 led a large-scale investigation in conjunction with the Okeechobee County Sheriff's Office that resulted in the clearance of more than 100 burglaries here on the Treasure Coast and the recovery of more than $125,000 in property. While also in the Detective Bureau, Rob was assigned to the Sex Offender Unit and worked with the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force and was deputized as a task force officer with the United States Marshal's Office, resulting in numerous arrests of sexually violent predators. In January of 2014, Rob transferred back to District Patrol, but returned to CID in October of the next year, where he has served ever since. Rob is currently assigned to the Sex Offender Unit and is a member of the ICAC Task Force, and recently completed a tedious month-long operation over the summer known as Operation Guardian Angel, targeting individuals seeking out children for sex. The operation successfully arrested 23 dangerous individuals preying on our community. Rob's work extends into the community as well as an instructor for the agency's RAD program, teaching women, children, and seniors how to defend themselves against an attack through countless presentations he has given also on internet safety. Rob is also an adjunct firearms, defensive tactics, and use of force instructor for the agency. Excuse me. Throughout the course of his career, Rob has earned numerous awards and commendations to include Law Enforcement Deputy of the Year in 1996 and 2002, Deputy of the Quarter twice, Detective of the Quarter, 2 Exceptional Duty Awards, 3 agency commendations, a Certificate of Appreciation, 5 unit citations, and multiple life-saving awards. Supervisors have had this to say about Rob. As an investigator, Rob maintains an extremely professional stance during the investigation, and his knowledge of the job, coupled with his approachability, makes him the go-to person in the Detective Bureau. Another supervisor shared, Deputy Barton has all the tools, including but not limited to job knowledge, experience, professionalism, and an attitude of total commitment to the Sheriff's Office that will make him an effective supervisor should he choose that career path. It is for all these reasons that I present to you today Sergeant Rob Barton. Congratulations, man. That's a lot of good stuff.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's get a picture and then we'll bring Ashley up. Awesome. With Rob today is his family, his wife Ashley, his parents Larry and Lynn Barton, brother Donnie, father-in-law Brian Roush, and brother-in-law Cole Roush, and his wife Ashley is going to have the honor of pinning his new badge on. Ashley? Oh, boy.
They offered her an Outback gift card earlier. So.
I'll put that in your hand too, buddy. The floor is yours. Please limit it to 45 minutes or less.
That'd be one less than Brian Hester. Captain Hester. We put the PowerPoint on. I have a presentation.
Well, I hope you don't, but go ahead.
First, I'd like to thank the chief and the sheriff for giving me the honor to serve as a sergeant within the Sawsum Agency. 27 years. Time flies. Said I wasn't going to do this. All right, take. Thanks to my wife, Ashley. She's pushed me. She's been my rock. Sent me back to school. Dealt with all of the crazy hours, call-outs, long hours, operations. She's been there. I couldn't have done it without her. Thanks to my parents for raising me with great morals, work ethic. My brother for always being there. My parents raised two awesome kids. Thanks to the Davis family that's here, the Roush family. I appreciate you guys showing up. Appreciate all the deputies, detectives that I've worked with over the years. Started back in traffic with Bill Hardman. It was joke after joke, but it was work after work after work. He was a slave driver. My good friends, Steve Sessoms, Jimmy DeFonso, Darren Brown, Sue Woodward, through many years as a detective. We've dealt with all kinds of stuff, but we've always got the job done and had a good time doing it. So with that, I'd like to thank all my family and the family that couldn't be here. Thank you.
God bless you, man. Okay, no more crying when you get up here, okay? Man, I get teary-eyed. Our next honoree, Matthew Briglia. Matthew, affectionately called Matt around the office, Briglia, was born in the township of Raritan, New Jersey, but grew up in Fort Pierce. He received his high school diploma from Indian River State College in August of 1993. Matt continued his education, completing his Associate of Applied Science degree in Criminal Justice Technology from Indian River State College in 2009, and his Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice Administration, summa cum laude, in 2016 from Columbia Southern University. In March of 2000, Matt completed the Florida Basic Recruit Law Enforcement Academy, class number 81, and joined the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office in May of that same year as a member of District Patrol. For 17 years, he's been with our Sheriff's Office. While assigned to District Patrol, Matt was recognized as a Deputy of the Quarter for a series of accomplishments. Most notably was a traffic stop where he located 65 ecstasy pills and 30 grams of powder cocaine. In August of 2002, Matt transferred to the traffic unit and was a member of the agency motor unit. While in this assignment, Matt was recognized by the Mothers Against Drunk Driving for making 106 drunk driving arrests in a single year. In September of 2007, Matt transferred to the Criminal Investigation Division and was reclassified as a detective. While in the Detective Bureau, Matt led an investigation into copper wire theft that resulted in the identification of 2 men and 26 transactions where wire was sold at local scrap yards. These men were ultimately charged with over 100 felonies with damages estimated in excess of $85,000. Excuse me, I'm just getting over a terrible, terrible cold. During the same time, Matt was a lead investigator in the homicide of local attorney Ashley Paulo and the arrest of 2 individuals who committed the murder. Now, there's more to that story, but I don't have time to tell you, right, Matt? And Christmas is coming, yes. In February of 2012, Matt transferred back to District Patrol until August of 2013 when he returned to CID, where he has served ever since. It was during this time, while Matt was assigned to District Patrol, that Sergeant Gary Morales was tragically killed on duty. Matt, as a field training officer, was with then Deputy Nate Stubley, his trainee for that day, when they heard the radio transmission from the scene and almost immediately located the suspect's vehicle, ultimately taking him into custody. Over the course of his career, Matt has been presented numerous awards and commendations, including the Combat Cross, Law Enforcement Deputy of the Year in 2015, Law Enforcement Deputy of the Quarter, Detective of the Quarter 3 times, the Distinguished Service Award, 2 agency commendations, a Certificate of Appreciation, 2 life-saving awards, and 4 unit citations. Outside the agency, Matt has also been recognized by the American Legion as the Law Officer of the Year for the Southern region of the United States. Supervisors have had this to say about Matt. Deputy Briglia is respected by his peers and is an agency veteran. He consistently displays leadership qualities in a very approachable way and is always willing to assist others in any capacity. He would be an excellent candidate to go to the next level in our agency. Another supervisor wrote, Detective Briglia is an exceptional investigator whose expertise shows through any assignment he is given. As a field training officer for new detectives, he is instilling his knowledge to his new investigators and is consistently looked upon by others within the unit. I believe he demonstrates the skills needed to make an excellent supervisor in the future. It is for all these reasons that I present today Sergeant Matt Bricklea. You're not going to cry on me, are you?
I'm not.
You might?
No guarantee.
Okay. With Matt today is his wife, Kim, his daughters, Maitland and Elizabeth, his parents, Lonnie and Celeste Briglia, and his brother, Santi, and his wife, Evelyn. And his wife, Kim, is going to do the pinning.
We forgot one brother, but that's okay.
Is he here?
Yeah.
No.
Nick.
And he did forget his other brother, Nick, who's here. Nick, I just want to say he forgot you, but it's okay. You should have practiced it at home last night. You did?
It's harder with people watching.
Tear you up, doesn't it? Tears you up.
Now, obviously, I can't guarantee I'm not going to cry. Major Hardy told me that I'm allowed to.
Okay.
Because he did last time.
Yes, he did.
But many of you know that I'm a man of few words, so this is going to take about 30 minutes. So, but thank you for being here today. Wife and kids, thank you for your support, encouragement through the years. Thank you to my parents for raising me properly with good work ethics and morals. My friends and family members that are here, thank you for your support, prayers through the years. Sheriff, Chief, thank you for giving me this opportunity to serve the community and this agency in this aspect. I know it's not a time to sit back and relax. It's a time to continue the hard work as I've always done. To all the supervisors over the years, thank you for guiding me and helping me build a solid foundation in my career and showing me what it means to be a true leader. Thank you.
Good job, man. Next up, Danetta Johnson. And yes, it looks like she brought her own cheering group. Yes. Danetta Johnson was born in Rochester, New York, and grew up in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. She graduated high school from Wesleyan Christian Academy in Fort Lauderdale in 1993 and continued her education, completing her Associate of Arts degree at Indian River State College in 2006, her Bachelor of Business Administration degree from Florida Atlantic University in 2011, and she's currently pursuing her MBA. A 12-year veteran of the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office, Danetta completed the Florida Basic Recruit Corrections Academy at Broward Community College in 2002 and was hired as a detention deputy by the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office in February of 2005. Over the course of her career, Danetta has been recognized for several awards and commendations. Those include Detention Deputy of the Year in 2016, Detention Deputy of the Quarter, 100 Club Detention Deputy of the Year, an agency commendation, and 6 unit citations. She has also been interviewed by the Hometown News as one of the up-and-coming leaders in local law enforcement. In her time at the jail, Danetta has worked various posts in general and special population, but more importantly, she quickly developed a skill set that was consistently referenced throughout her employment file, her enthusiasm for the job. Remember when I talked about in the beginning, enthusiasm? She's got it. She also has care and concern of others and her dedication to not only to do her job well, but take on additional responsibilities. In 2014, over the course of a 3-month period, while the agency conducted the promotional process to replace several retirees, Danetta was identified as someone to be a temporary assigned supervisor. Danetta excelled, just as she has done throughout her career. In fact, many under her watch commended her for having the wisdom and the guidance that new detention deputies look for in a seasoned veteran supervisor. It was during this time that Danetta realized her goal to become a sergeant and set her sights on the promotional process. She went back to school to advance her education and sought out other highly qualified supervisors to get as much information from them as possible, and even made efficiency recommendations to improve and streamline our jail processes. When the ongoing promotional process at that time concluded, Danetta did not make the final cut. But that didn't stop her. Oh no. In fact, that motivated her more. She took every opportunity as a teachable moment, and she continually encouraged others to find and set new goals at work and in their personal lives. She recently told her commanding officer that 2017 is my year. You know it's 2017? You know? What is it, 7 more days and we're out of 17? She's recently volunteered for committee work and community service projects, becoming a highly recognized and a respected face within the Department of Detention, our agency, and our community. Supervisors have had this to say about Danetta. She has been and continues to be one of the most motivated deputies on the shift. She is always enthusiastic and consistently has a smile on her face. Her positive attitude is contagious, and the entire shift respects her. Remember I talked about respect? It is because I want supervisors with this kind of attitude, dedication, and leadership that I am pleased to present to you today, Sergeant Danetta Johnson. Man, do you believe that? Now with her today are uncles Marvin Jones and David Beckworth. She had another uncle, Charles Beckworth, from California that was to be here today. He actually came to our award ceremony where you were noted as Detention Deputy of the Year. And she gave great credit to him and said, if I ever get promoted sergeant, I want you to come. Well, he left California yesterday and is still in the Atlanta airport sleeping. So he is stuck there. She has her aunt Eleanor Jones here, cousins Marvin Jones Jr., Marvin Jones III, Devon Beckworth, Kendall Washington, Melody Beckworth, Tammy Robinson, and her pastor, Pastor Dampier. Is she here? Yeah, Dampier? Yes, okay. And pinning on her badge would have been her uncle Beckworth from California, but we're going to have her uncle David Beckworth. So David, come on up. Put that in there. You should be very, very proud.
Thank you, sir.
Michelle Obama said, we should always have 3 types of friends in our lives. One who walks ahead, who we look to and follow. One who walks beside us, who is with us every step of our journey. One we reach back for and bring along after we have cleared the way. I have truly been blessed to have these type of people in my life to help me on my journey. I want to first thank God for all that he has done for me. I want to thank you, Sheriff, for the opportunity to be here today. I want to thank my mom, who has instilled in me work ethics and integrity. She has been the best role model, and it's because of her why I'm here today. I want to thank my big brother, late Sergeant Williams, who has also believed in me and has been an example. Sharon, I thank you for coming here in his behalf. Thank you. To all my family, friends, mentors, and my Team Purple crew, thank you for all your prayers, support, encouragement, words of wisdom, and believing in me. I will proudly wear this gold badge for you. Thank you.
You're the best. Congratulations. I do want to recognize Sharon Williams. Sadly, we lost her husband, Sergeant Williams. It's been 3 years now? Year and a half? Year and a half. Maybe the pain is so great it feels like 3, huh? 3 years, and she's here joining us today. Sharon, thanks for being here. Our next honoree, Keith Pearson. Keith was born in North Valley Stream, New York, but grew up in Fort Pierce. He received his high school diploma from Indian River State College in April of 2002. In 2014, Keith completed the Associate of Science degree at Criminal Justice Technology, also from Indian River State College. A 14-year veteran of the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office, Keith completed the Florida Corrections Officer Basic Recruit Academy at Indian River State College in June of 2003. Joined the Sheriff's Office that same month as a certified detention deputy, where he worked in both general population and booking. In June of 2005, Keith completed the Corrections to Law Enforcement crossover and was reclassified as a Florida Certified Law Enforcement Officer. In May of 2006, Keith was transferred to the Department of Law Enforcement assigned to District Patrol. In February of 2010, Keith was transferred to the Criminal Investigations Division and assigned to the Special Investigations Unit. He was reclassified as a detective in October of 2011. During his time in SIU, Keith has been part of numerous short-term and long-term investigations, most notably in 2003 when he went undercover at an Okeechobee County high school. The investigation led to the arrest of more than 20 students for dealing in illegal narcotics. And it was during this time that Keith was paired with his canine partner, Carmine, and together they have worked diligently to rid our community of drugs. Because of his skills and expertise, Keith was selected as a task force officer with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. Keith has been a part of numerous summer crime suppression details along with the statewide and federal investigations such as Operation Strike 3 and Grand Slam that have shut down or eliminated organized crime and put behind bars violent criminals that have plagued our community. While in SIU, Keith has also developed a talent for all things related to covert operations. I almost hate to say it. Keith has been instrumental in bringing our agency into the 21st century with regards to audio-video surveillance and making our cases stronger and more predictable and prosecutable in court. In August of 2017, Keith transferred within the Criminal Investigation Unit and was assigned to the Detective Bureau. In November of 2017, Keith was transferred to his current assignment in auto theft. Keith's service to the community is not to go unmentioned. He has conducted numerous canine demonstrations with Carmen at schools, festivals, and homeowners group, and has always been an active volunteer with the Fort Pierce Police Athletic League. Throughout his career, Keith has been presented with numerous awards and commendations, including Law Enforcement Deputy of the Year in 2009, Detective of the Quarter twice, Law Enforcement Deputy of the Quarter 4 times, a Distinguished Service Award, 3 Meritorious Service Awards, 3 agency commendations, a Certificate of Appreciation, and 5 unit citations. Over the years, supervisors have had this to say about Keith. Keith continues to be most productive and experienced member of our unit and is working to prepare himself for advancement within the agency. Another supervisor wrote, Keith is very knowledgeable about investigative techniques and always has a great attitude no matter what the task is at hand. His network of contacts throughout the county and the state is a great asset to his success in our agencies. It is for all these reasons that I present to you today Sergeant Keith Pearson. Sadly, Keith's parents, Paul and can't even think of her name, just Karen, she's are on a cruise, but they sent a stand-in for him. And Bill, you want to come up and do the presentation real quick? Now, I'm not going to let you talk. Oh, yeah, you got to talk too? Okay. You do? This is on behalf of Keith's parents.
I'll try not to cry. As most of you already know, the Pearson family is synonymous with law enforcement in St. Lucie County. Keith and his brother Paul are both outstanding and accomplished detectives within our agency. And their father, Paul Sr., is not only a very well-respected member of Fort Pierce Police Department, but also the executive director of the Police Athletic League in Fort Pierce. In that role, Paul has impacted our community in immeasurable ways. Keith's parents, Paul and Karen, had prior commitments to be on the cruise and out of the country this week, so they asked me to fill in for them today, which I was honored to do. They both wanted me to tell you how extremely proud they are of not just Keith, but all their children, and asked that I present Keith with a plaque to commemorate this milestone in his career. The plaque reads as follows. Present to Detective Keith Pearson, congratulations on your promotion to Sergeant, December 20, 2017. Love, Mom and Dad.
Yay. So we could tell him from the ship it was delivered.
That's right.
Keith has his wife Brandy here, his sons Keith and Caden, his brother Paul and Kevin, and his sister Caitlin, and we're going to have his wife Brandy come up and pin him. Put that in your pocket, I'll take that. There's the badge. Oh, and the boys are coming too. Awesome.
I can assure you it's not going to be 30 minutes. I'd like to thank everyone for being here. It's been a long journey. I'd like to thank my wife. She supported me throughout this, as well as my brothers, sons, and other family members. I'd like to thank the sheriff and the chief and the other command staff for believing in me and giving me this opportunity to be here, and for everyone that's helped guided me and mentored me throughout my career. I look forward to doing great things with the agency and the direction that we're taking with it. Thank you.
I need to get a picture with you too. I missed the picture opportunity. Come on this side. Good job. Congratulations. That concludes our sergeants. Next in line are our new lieutenants, and first of them is Brian Butchko. Brian, come on up. Brian was born in Edison, New Jersey, but grew up in Port St. Lucie. He graduated high school in 1993 from Port St. Lucie High School and then attended West Liberty State College in West Virginia, where he majored in biology. Brian enlisted in the U.S. Air Force and was stationed at Lackland Air Force Base in Texas until 2000. Brian continued his education and completed his Associate of Arts degree from Indian River State College in 2012. A 15-year veteran of the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office, Brian was hired in October of 2012 as a non-certified detention deputy. He completed Florida Corrections Basic Recruit Class 106 at Indian River State College in March of 2003 and was reclassified as a certified detention deputy. In April of 2007, Brian was promoted to the rank of sergeant and continued his assignment at the jail. Over the years, Brian has been instrumental in several Florida Model Jail Standards inspections, each time working through the process with the highest level of professionalism and attention to detail. Brian has also served the department as detention as a field training officer and has been vital in training countless new employees. For years, Brian was a central figure in the jail's training program and has worked with both sworn and civilian staff throughout the agency to ensure that members at the jail are not only properly trained, but also meet the FDLE required disciplines. Also, advanced training opportunities are made available through him to evolve those working with detention setting to stay current with new trends and innovations. Most recently, Brian has coordinated many of the upgrades at the jail facility, including inmate video visitation system, the inmate telephone system, key control of the entire 186,000 square foot facility. Throughout his career, Brian has received many awards and commendations, including Supervisor of the Year in 2012 and then again in 2014, Supervisor of the Quarter, Deputy of the Quarter, a Certificate of Appreciation, and 5 unit citations. Supervisors have these comments about Brian. He is an inspiration to me as a supervisor with his superior work ethic, constant drive to succeed, willingness to help others be the best they can be, and crazy sense of humor that helps us all get through the day. Another stated, Brian is one of the most selfless supervisors I have seen, often biting off what appears to be more than he can chew, but somehow gets the job done. Always putting his unit and his colleagues before him, Brian has often said, why should I get an award for just doing my job? And if that doesn't sum up a great leadership, I really don't know what does. It is for all these reasons I am pleased to present to you Lieutenant Brian Butchko. With him today is his wife Brenda, his daughter Isabella and Zika, son Zeta, father Andrew, stepmother Diane, niece Samantha, nephew Joseph and Christopher, and his wife Brenda will be pinning his badge on him. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Excellent. You're welcome. get the floor. You get to take that when you leave.
Well, thank you everyone for being here today. It's an honor to have this privilege. First, I want to thank Sheriff Mascari, Chief Wilson, Major Ty, and Captain Lawhorn for the confidence to promote me and the privilege to serve in the capacity of lieutenant. Thank my family for the support and friends for support over the years, the deputies and friends and mentors over the years that have assisted me with getting to this point now. It's been an honor and a privilege to serve the facility and the agency, the community for the last 16 years, and I look forward to doing so moving forward. Thank you very much, and God bless.
Congratulations again, man.
Thank you very much.
Next lieutenant is Petri Hayes. Petri was born and raised in Gary, Indiana. He graduated high school from William A. Wirt High School in Gary in 1993 and completed his Bachelor of Science degree in Criminal Justice from Indiana University in June of 1999. In 2000, he completed a graduate certificate in Public and Environmental Affairs, also from Indiana University. Petri served with the Indiana Department of Corrections from 1998 to 2008, 10 years, in several positions including corrections officer, correction counselor, parole officer, drill instructor, lieutenant commander, and correctional lieutenant. After relocating to Florida, Petri completed the Florida Corrections Officer Proficiency Course through Indiana River State College and became a Florida Certified Corrections Officer in June of 2009. An 8-year veteran of the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office, he joined us in October of that same year as a detention deputy and was promoted to the rank of sergeant in February of 2013. Throughout his time with us, Petri has been assigned to General Population and Booking, has served as the Department of Detention Field Training Officer, worked as a member of the agency's Gang Intelligence Task Force, and serves on the jail's emergency response team, and even worked to develop a physical fitness training course for members of the CERT team. His service extends outside the agency as well through his tireless work organizing and coaching basketball camps and leagues for youth in our community. In fact, with his leadership, coupled with deputies in our school resource unit, it has led to a highly successful basketball camp these past 3 summers for area youth in our community. Petri also serves as an adjunct instructor in defensive tactics and basic recruit academy at Indiana River State College. Over the course of his career, he has been presented numerous awards, including Detention Supervisor of the Year in 2015, Supervisor of the Quarter, an agency commendation, and a certificate of appreciation, and 5 unit citations. Supervisors have noted this about him. Petri is an extremely meticulous and thorough deputy, and one of the most level-headed ones we have. He is patient with the most upset, irate individuals that come through booking, and always works as a team player without question or hesitation. Another one noted, excuse me again, he serves as an example for all who interact with him. He makes timely and good decisions when dealing with inmates and subordinates, and communicates effectively and works well with others at all times. He is maximizing his potential with our agency. It is for all these reasons that I am pleased to present to you today Lieutenant Petri Hayes. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
earned it.
Appreciate it.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. I know, but I'm going to open it up and take a picture with you. Okay, come on over here. I think I got it now. Congratulations.
Thank
again,
you
man.
very much. Appreciate it.
His wife Emily is with us and the basketball team. But Emily is going to come up and pin him. Also, daughters Hope and Mercy, son Caleb, and the in-laws Craig and Mary Bodie are here joining us. But his wife Emily, come on up. Emily, I'll give you that, and then he can give a speech. You're welcome.
Good morning. Sorry about that. Wanted to thank everybody for being able to attend. I appreciate it. Especially thank you for that section for bearing with my children. My son probably said the most words he has in the last 6 months because it was quiet. So thank you. Wanted to share something with you real quick. It's not going to take very long because I know there's probably intermission in here.
No, there isn't. No.
All right. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. These words, Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, were given to me 9 years ago. 9 years ago as I stood in a food pantry line with my oldest daughter's hand, not knowing where my next meal was coming from. Forced to make hard decisions, deciding if food was going to be in the refrigerator, or if the lights are going to stay on. Those tough decisions. And now I stand before you because of everybody within this room and also the ones that weren't able to attend. It was a team effort, and I appreciate all your support. Got a little dusty. Wanted to break that streak, though, and get through that. Wanted to thank the sheriff, the chief, the major, and the captain for just believing in me and supporting me in everything that they've done. Also have been blessed to just be involved with several organizations and teams throughout. My first team that I was involved with was the Boys and Girls Club down on 5th Avenue in Gary, Indiana. After I became 19, couldn't participate in it anymore, they asked, hey, we need a coach. So that 10 and 6 season was a great opportunity for me to learn a lot of leadership lessons, and it molded me and taught me things that I use today, so I'm thankful for that. In addition to it, I also wanted to thank the members of the Northern Indiana Department of Corrections CERT team. We had a saying, carry the spirit, and what that meant was remember the ones that laid the firm foundation that in which you stand, and continue to build that foundation for the ones that are going to follow you. So I wanted to thank them as well. Also wanted to thank the members of the St. Lucie County Stars. We have a saying as far as what our defense does, lock them up, lock them down, and just what it was just the expression as far as our defense, and it showed who we truly are and our hard work and effort that these gentlemen within the room and the ones that weren't able to make it laid out each and every game, so I thank you guys. Last but not least, I wanted to thank my support system, Emily, Craig, Mary. When that phone rings and I have to enjoy my brothers and sisters on the emergency response team, who I'm also going to speak about, they stop at a moment's notice and step up to the plate. So thank you for that. Like I said, the members of the emergency response team, OTOH, I appreciate everything that you guys did. You guys have surpassed anything that I have possibly imagined that we've been able to accomplish in the last 4 years. Just wanted to thank you guys. And for that, I didn't want to take up too much more time. Have a Merry Christmas, and I appreciate everything. Thank you again.
Good stuff, man. Congratulations, brother. Best of luck. You're welcome. Next honoree for Lieutenant John Perot. John was born in the village of Potsdam, New York, but grew up in Indiantown, Florida. He graduated high school from South Fork High School in 1993 and then enlisted in the U.S. Air Force as a security policeman. Over the course of almost 5 years, he had several postings up until February of 1998 when he was honorably discharged. John pursued advanced education opportunities and in May of 2005 completed his Associate of Science degree in Criminal Justice from Indian River State College and then his Bachelor of Arts degree in Organizational Management from Warner Southern College in December of 2006. In June of 2014, John was awarded his Master of Science degree in Criminal Justice Administration from Columbia Southern University. In March of 1999, John completed the Law Enforcement Basic Recruit Academy, class number 79, and was certified as a law enforcement officer. An 18-year veteran of the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office, he joined us in September of 1999 as a member of Patrol Operations. In June of 2002, he was transferred to the Criminal Investigations Division and reclassified as a detective. During this time, John was primarily a crimes against persons investigator. In June of 2008, John was the first deputy within the agency to be trained as a computer forensic examiner by the Secret Service. In this capacity, he worked as a member of the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force and Secret Service Electronic Crimes Task Force. In August of 2012, John was promoted to the rank of sergeant and moved back to patrol operations, serving as a district patrol supervisor. In October of 2014, John became the first supervisor of the newly formed Strategic Tactics and Response Team, known as our STAR, where he and his team members focused on intelligence-driven solutions to suppress crime in our county and also fulfill many public relations roles on behalf of our agency. The following October, John returned to District Patrol and then transferred to the Crime Prevention Unit until February of 2017, and that is where he currently serves and has made great strides in updating the unit and its programs with new branding and new revised processes. Throughout his career, John has received numerous awards and recognitions. Those include an Exceptional Duty Award, a Distinguished Service Award, Meritorious Service Award, Life Saving Award, 4 accommodations, agency commendations, Detective of the Quarter, and 5 unit citations. Supervisors share that John makes sound decisions in a clear and thought-out manner and is highly regarded for his organizational and operational skills. Many of them share a common theme that John Perot is a veteran deputy and his diverse experience within the agency will serve him well as a future supervisor. It is for all these reasons that I am pleased to present to you today Lieutenant John Perot. Now, sadly, all of his family are out of town and could not make it, and he has asked me to pin his badge on him, which I am greatly honored, John. And hopefully I won't stick you because I did not practice last night.
I got my vest on.
You got your vest
I got my
on?
vest on.
Awesome. Got it, buddy.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations.
I'll keep it short, no puns intended. I don't know why I got to follow the tallest guy in the building.
I didn't arrange that. It was all alphabetical.
I just want to thank the sheriff and chief and the rest of the command staff for continued support. My friends and family, thank you. And that's it. I'm going to keep it short. Thank you.
You did, buddy. Our next is Lieutenant Honoree Jamie Wills. Jamie was born in Point Pleasant, New Jersey, but is called Fort Pierce home. He graduated from John Carroll High School in 1987. He continued his education and completed his Associate in Applied Science and Criminal Justice in 2016 from Columbia Southern University. Following high school graduation, Jamie enlisted in the U.S. Marine Corps Reserves and served until May of 1995. In September of 1990, he completed the Law Enforcement Basic Recruit Academy, class number 54, and was certified as a Florida law enforcement officer. A 26-year veteran of the Sheriff's Office, Jamie joined us in March of 1991. In June of 1995, Jamie was transferred to the Fort Pierce Housing Authority Policing Unit, and in May of the next year, Jamie transitioned into the Special Investigations Unit, then known as the Street Crimes Unit. And in October of 1997, Jamie was reclassified as a detective and transferred to the Criminal Investigation Division. And in April of 2002, Jamie transferred back to Uniform Patrol and was promoted to sergeant in June of that same year. In July of 2005, Jamie was assigned to the School Resource Unit as a supervisor and began forming relationships with kids and school administrators that would carry him to where he is today. In March of 2010, Jamie returned to SIU as a supervisor working vice and narcotic investigations until May of 2014, when again he returned to the School Resource Unit where he currently serves. Jamie has been a member of the agency SWAT team as well as the underwater search and recovery dive team, where he currently serves as a team commander. In addition, Jamie recently completed the Florida Department of Law Enforcement's Criminal Justice Executive Institute, class number 39. Recently, Jamie spearheaded an initiative that took a dilapidated cargo trailer and converted it into a beautifully designed and well-stocked activity trailer that our school resource deputy unit uses throughout our county for events and their signature pop-up parties. Throughout his career, Jamie has received numerous awards and recognitions. Those include an Honorable Service Award, 2 Distinguished Service Awards, an Agency Commendation, Supervisor of the Quarter twice, Detective of the Quarter, and 7 unit citations. He has also been awarded multiple life-saving awards. Throughout his employment file, there are countless letters from agencies across the state and our federal partners commending Jamie on various cases, operations, and investigations that he assisted over his career. They are all share one common theme: Jamie's willingness to do whatever is asked of him thoroughly and efficiently, always representing our agency with the highest professionalism. Supervisors have shared that Jamie is always willing to lend a helping hand to make the job easier for his fellow deputies and supervisors, and that he deals with stressful situations well, remaining calm and making good, sound decisions. Most notably was this comment: Sergeant Wills brings tremendous enthusiasm and belief in values to the School Resource Deputy Unit. It is for all these reasons that I am proud to present to you today Lieutenant Jamie Wills. Congratulations again, buddy.
Sir.
With him today is, of course, Stephanie, who is going to pin the badge. His son, Morgan, his mom, Julie. Jules, where are you? I know she came in. There you are, right there in the front. I'm sorry. Other sons, Wyatt, are helping restore power in Puerto Rico. Couldn't be here. And Garrett, who is in the Army and just returned from Korea. So, Stephanie, come on up. Stephanie and Morgan both are going to pin them. Yes, I'm sorry. Go get him, buddy.
Petrie, can I have what was in that bottle? Because you did too great of a job, my friend. So, Sheriff, I'd just like to first thank you for this confidence and this great opportunity. The Chief and Command staff, thank you for your continued support over the years. I'm going to try to hold it together, but I can't promise anybody anything. And I know I'm going to miss some few names and people that I should probably share along with this, but just bear with me. With over 26 years of law enforcement, I had the great honor of working with some great leaders and mentors. Over the years, I've witnessed several changes other than my hairline. One common theme is that my experience with great leadership from the top down. Great leaders have professionalism, motivation, compassion. For me, the late Captain Bill Dewson, Sergeant Harry Wells, and Diane Thompson showed me true professionalism. Both gave me guidance with a big dose of patience. My motivators were Major Doug Hardy, who turned over the reins to the dive team with some great guys. Thank you for the support. A big thank you to Captain Kevin Dietrich, who first recruited me into the school resource unit, even though I didn't really want to come here. He opened up the door and really found my passion. Thank you, Kevin. I thank Lieutenant Chris Ciccio, who's always supported me in my creative ideas over the past few years, and congratulations, Chris. All these men have compassion for their job, but the bar was set high by the late Captain Charlie Scavuzzo and Diane Thompson. Both shared their hearts and love for the profession, the troops, and the community. Last but not least, over the past 14 years as sergeant, I've been blessed to have some outstanding troops during my stints with Patrol, SIU Dive Team, and now with the School Resource Unit, for which I fondly call the Big Heart Brigade. All these folks had a lasting impression in my life, and only second to a few women in my life and my 3 boys. As some of you know, I'm 110% mama's boy. When I was a kid, I remember my mom dragging me around, my brother, all our sporting events, and volunteering to be the team mom. She volunteered at our school events and spent several years working in the rectory at St. Agnes so that we could have a great education. My mom was always first to volunteer, whether it was Thanksgiving morning riding around the back of a truck, handing out Thanksgiving dinners, or volunteering for almost anything. I realize now she ingrained me with the love of coaching kids and my drive to help others in need. Thanks, Mom. I love you. Stephanie, thanks for being my rock. You've made the last several years fantastic, to say the least. I thank God every day for blessing you in my life. I love you. Say this is a great day is only second to yesterday when my son Garrett returned home from Korea, is now in North Carolina at Fort Bragg. Thank you, Lord, for keeping him safe. The greatest title I've ever had in life is Dad. 3 great young men. Sorry. I love you guys more than words can express. Dad, I know you're smiling down on me. Thank you. Last, I've had a few words to some of the new supervisors I've had the pleasure working with: Keith, Matt, Rob. Success is not a promotion, rank, or title, but success is being significant in the lives of your coworkers and the community. Be significant, and success will follow you. Thank you.
Happens every time somebody makes me cry. You know, your mom was the face of St. A's. When people would walk in and look for a priest, they found her. We always thought you were a priest for the longest time. Just saying, Mom. Matter of fact, I tried to give you a confession one time. I thought you'd be easier on me than Father George. You know, in the beginning, I talked about the qualities that I look for in leaders. And each month, each day at my office, I get letters, I get phone calls, I get emails about the great things that our employees do. And for lack of time, I would like to read this whole letter, but I'm going to try to synopsize it and give you the Reader's Digest version. Last year, a Boy Scout troop from Dublin, Georgia was coming through St. Lucie County. They were on the turnpike. It was on a Sunday afternoon, and they break down. And they limp this van into the Fort Pierce Toll Plaza. Of course, they have screaming Boy Scouts and no food and nowhere to go, and they're trying to get help, but nothing's going on. And in short, the this guy calls 911. They call the road supervisor. The road supervisor goes out, and it happens to be Lieutenant Hester, and Lieutenant Hester says, listen, he says, we're going to take care of you. And we're going to bring you to our church. We're going to feed you. We're going to make sure everyone's safe. And let me just paraphrase, or let me just read this last paragraph of this letter that I received from this gentleman. I want you to know, Sheriff, Lieutenant Brian Hester and Lieutenant Chris Sissio are a credit to you and your sheriff's office. These men and their families went out of their way to show true compassion and caring to completely strangers in time of need. I know how demanding law enforcement officers' job is and how much they value their off time with their families. However, both of them ignored their off time, grabbed their families, and came to our aid. As a scout leader, I always try to remind our scouts to live up to the scout oath every day, in particular, to always help other people at all times. Your men were perfect examples of this, and both of those men are being promoted to captain today, the first of which is Chris Sissio. Chris, come on up. Chris was born in Colorado but grew up in Port St. Lucie. He graduated from John Carroll High School in 1991. Did you give confessions to Mom too?
Oh, I did.
You did, that's what I thought.
I think I'm due one.
And completed his law enforcement basic recruit certification in 1992. He continued his education, completing his Associate of Science degree in criminal justice from Indian River State College in 2001, and his Bachelor of Applied Management with a specialization in Public Safety Administration from Indian River State College in 2012. Chris started his career in law enforcement with the Highlands County Sheriff's Office in January of 1993 and worked in an undercover assignment at the Avon Park High School. Similar to what Keith did here, you did over in Avon Park. In August of that same year, almost 25 years ago, Chris got smart and was hired by the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office. In April of 1997, Chris was transferred to the Special Investigations Unit and was named a Master Deputy in July of the next year. In February of 1999, Chris transferred back to Road Patrol, but later that year moved to the School Resource Unit, where his love for teaching and effective organizational skills met a perfect fit. In July of 2001, Chris transferred to the Training Unit, where again his organization and teaching skills proved helpful. In June of 2003, Chris was promoted to the rank of sergeant and maintained his role as the agency's training coordinator. And I might add, he was tasked with training the command staff, which is a tall task. In January of 2006, Chris transferred back to the School Resource Unit as a supervisor. In February of 2009, he then moved to the Crime Prevention Unit, where again his skills as teaching and organization were drawn upon to develop and lead new and innovative community outreach programs. In February of 2013, Chris transferred back to District Patrol, where he served as a shift supervisor. And in January of 2015, Chris transferred to the Criminal Investigations Division as a sergeant in the Detective Bureau. The very next year, Chris was promoted to the rank of lieutenant and returned to the School Resource Unit, where he has served ever since. Chris is a master bomb technician, certified by the FBI, and has handled more than 200 calls for service dealing with numerous improvised explosive devices, hoax devices, and military ordnance. He currently serves as the assistant bomb team leader. He is also the lead RAD instructor for our agency and has coordinated the training of countless women, children, and seniors in our community, providing them with the skills necessary to defend themselves in the event of an attack. Chris has served our agency as an in-service instructor, specializing in the use of force training that includes defensive tactics, firearms, active shooter response, and incident command. He is also a member of our agency SWAT team and has served as a backup chaplain at numerous times, and has also served as a critical incident stress management debriefer. Chris has developed a critical incident response plan for law enforcement response to school shootings and was instrumental in developing of Code Red emergency response training for St. Lucie County Public Schools and Indian River State College. A version of that program is now being used to train businesses and nonprofits throughout our county. He has served as a lead planner or evaluator for several countywide multi-agency training exercises. Most recently, Chris attended and completed the Florida Sheriff's Commanders Academy, class number 4, and was elected the class president. Throughout his career, Chris has been recipient of the following honors: the ACES Community Policing Award, Florida Crime Prevention Unit of the Year, Florida School Resource Unit of the Year, Supervisor of the Quarter twice, Patrol Support Deputy of the Year 2001, Deputy of the Quarter twice, 9 unit citations, and numerous commendations and service awards. Chris's supervisors over the years have provided the insight into his work ethic. He is very dedicated and takes his job seriously and is highly motivated, always ready to take on added responsibilities. Another supervisor stated, he always assumes the role of a teacher and instills leadership within his peers. For all these outstanding reasons and accomplishments and his continued service to our community and our agency, I am pleased to present to you Captain Chris Sissio. With Chris today is his wife Shanna, who we all know, daughters Kaylee, Colby, and Audrey. Parents Joe and Kathy Sissio are here with us. His in-laws Fred and Karen Davis. Brother-in-law Chris Kraft and brother Mike Sissio. But his wife Shanna is going to come up and pin him.
I didn't write a speech. I think most of you know I don't do that. Very overwhelming and humbling to sit here and listen to all these things that have been accomplished, but I can tell you it's been a team effort. Virtually everything that I've been able to accomplish is because I'm surrounded by such phenomenal people. I'd like to thank Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, who has given me so much more than I deserve. My wife and daughters who have been that foundation and that support, during the call-outs and the on-call weeks in CID, the phone ringing at 3 o'clock in the morning, even as a school resource lieutenant. My parents for raising me the way that they did and giving me this work ethic. My brother Mike, who played cops and robbers with me years ago to get me prepared for this job. Sheriff, thank you for this opportunity. And to all the bosses, chief and command staff, past and present, you have all influenced my life in some way over the last 25 years. But nobody has influenced me more than the deputies I get to work with every day. Everything that the sheriff read about me means absolutely nothing. Everything the sheriff has read about us today means absolutely nothing if we don't use that to invest in other people. And that's what I endeavor to do. I do want to mention one person. Larry Hostetler has been a friend and a mentor for the last 19 years as my bomb team commander. He has been my rock when I need to talk to somebody. When I need to go for a ride, he's there to take me for a ride, and I appreciate his support and his leadership. To the bomb team, who has been with me for so long, thank you as well. And I do have one other thing that I'll have to take care of at the end of this promotion ceremony, because I work with such great peers. And you look at the field of lieutenants. When the sheriff called me in and told me that I was being promoted to captain, I literally looked at him and questioned his decision because of the people that I work with. I almost kind of cocked my head and said, "Really?" And he looked at me with this puzzled look, and I said, "Sheriff, you've got such great people to choose from, and that's because of the peers that I work with. You have shaped me and molded me, and I hope that I have done as much for you as you have done for me." But one person that I do have to make a commitment to, and I'll take care of it at the end of this promotion ceremony, is Bill Hardman. We were having a conversation about 3 months ago, and he said that I would be promoted to captain at some point. He believed that, and I told him not only no, but I'll bet you $100 that I won't make captain. So I owe you a fresh Benji, Bill, wherever you're at. He did expect to be paid at the promotion ceremony, so later see me, I got a Benji for you in my wallet. And when I told the sheriff this, he said, "I'm sure you won't mind paying him $100 out of your captain's pay." So thank you all very much. You guys mean the world to me, and I hope to serve you, continue to serve you as I have in the past, and
and I learn as much from you as hopefully you guys learn from me. So thank you.
Chris, before you go, there's been something ticking under here. Oh, no, it's all.
Where's Wentz?
Our next captain honoree is Brian Hester. Brian. Brian Hester, if you didn't guess it with that accent, was born in Greenville, South Carolina. He graduated from Travelers Rest. Yes, that is a little town in South Carolina. Travelers Rest High School in 1989. And then from Clemson University in May of 1994 with a Bachelor of Science degree in accounting. They've had a bad year, haven't they? No? Okay. He graduated with an accounting degree. He attended the South Carolina Criminal Justice Academy and completed his career, his law enforcement certificate in January of 1995 with the highest honors, winning the prestigious J.P. Strom Award, awarded to only one recruit in the entire state of South Carolina. In July of 2006, Brian received his Master of Science degree in Strategic Leadership from Mountain State University in West Virginia. Prior to joining the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office, Brian was a Greer City, South Carolina police officer and a Greenville County Sheriff's deputy. He joined the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office in December of 1998 and served 2 years as a patrol deputy. In March of 2000, Brian was transferred to the Special Investigations Unit, and later that year, he left the agency. Actually, he left it on the day that I was elected. I was a little concerned about that. He left our agency to pursue an opportunity in the private sector, but in March of 2003, he rejoined the agency as a member of District Patrol. In total, he has served our agency for 16 years. In June of 2004, Brian again joined the Special Investigation Unit and was reclassified as a detective in July of 2005. In January 2008, he transferred to the Economic Crimes Unit, and Brian was promoted to sergeant in October of 2008 and transferred back to the Special Investigations Unit as a supervisor. In February of 2010, he became the agency's training coordinator and implemented a new vision for how we conduct training. In his role, Brian transformed the single gun range into a comprehensive training complex with a full-time training staff. In addition, he oversaw the implementation of a massive employee health and wellness initiative, certifying our facility as a national CrossFit affiliate and improving the health and fitness of our employees. In August of 2014, Brian was promoted to the rank of lieutenant and returned to the Special Investigations Unit, where he focused on the growing opioid epidemic, changing the way overdose calls are handled and collecting vital data from drug users to build stronger cases against drug dealers. In August of this year, Brian transferred to District Patrol, where he has served ever since. Throughout his career, Brian has maintained a position on the agency SWAT team, increasing his leadership role to team leader, and has now been an adjunct instructor in both basic recruit academies and advanced and specialized training at Indian River State College. Over the years, Brian has received many awards and commendations, both internally and externally, from our agency. They have included the Florida Sheriff's Association Deputy of the Year, the Palm Beach Post Officer of the Year, the U.S. Attorney General's Officer of the Year, Florida Attorney General Meritorious Service Award, American Legion Officer of the Year Award, Florida Narcotics Officer Association Officer of the Year, and the Sons of the American Revolution Officer of the Year. From this agency alone, Brian has received Detective of the Quarter, 7 unit citations, and 5 Exceptional Duty Awards. Brian is also a graduate of the FBI National Academy, class number 265, and is currently a board member of the Chapter 1 Foundation, focusing awareness on post-traumatic stress disorders on first responders. And he's also on the board of the Boys and Girls Club of St. Lucie County. Throughout his career, supervisors have noted his meticulous attention to detail, interpersonal and sound negotiating skills, willingness to work in a team, and consistently giving 100% to any task assigned to him. One specific supervisor noted, "It is apparent by Brian's everyday demeanor that he truly cares for his subordinates, his agency, and our community by his dedication and determination. In his new assignment, Captain Hester will oversee the growing number of community outreach programs, units, and initiatives of the agency, and the complex industry compliance functions of training, background investigations, and accreditation. For all these reasons, please join me in congratulating Captain Brian Hester. With him today is his wife, Ginger, and children Jake, Luke, Wes, Emily, and Hannah, and his wife Ginger is going to do the pinning.
So I do have a speech. But after listening to everybody, I'm probably going to deviate just a little bit. And my wife couldn't pin me very well because my uniforms get tailored, and so there's no room in there with a vest on. I apologize. Listen, today is such a special day for everyone getting promoted, for their families, for the agency. When you see the emotion up here, when you see it from those people being promoted, what you see is passion, dedication, love for their family, and understanding for what the road that they've been down to get to where they are. And I understand that, and I've understood it every promotion, and you see it at all levels of promotion. And the best analogy I can give you is think about this, and this is a great analogy. For the sheriff especially, is think about Clemson. Think about Clemson last year. Nobody had faith in them last year. They went all the way. They went all the way to the national championship, and they put it on Alabama. I apologize. And we're probably, and in a couple weeks, it's going to happen again. But when you see that, at the end of those games, after all that hard work, after everything those teams have put in it, and that coach gets on national TV, what do they do? What did Dabo Swinney do? He boo-hooed. He boo-hooed like a big baby. Was he sad? No, he wasn't sad. He was happy. But it was all that hard work, that passion, that dedication, everything that was built up that came out. And so understand that with everybody today. And so I just laid the groundwork for myself when I cry. So. But anyway, I do want to say a few thank yous. I have to thank God. And like Chris said, you know, His grace and His mercy. And without that in our lives, none of us would be here. And then to my family. My family is very important. But to my family that's here, my family that's watching, to my kids, my parents, for the support that they've given over the years, the late nights, the missed events, the ups and downs that come with this job in general. To my wife, who no matter what, I have to say she is my biggest fan. She's a bigger fan of me than I am of me sometimes. she's always supported everything. She is always there no matter the ups and downs, whatever's going on, and always pushing, always supporting. And no matter what harebrained idea I come up with or that I want to go after, she's always supportive. So I thank her. I truly wouldn't be here without her. Thank you to the sheriff and the chief and the command staff for your faith in us all today, for this opportunity. And I truly mean that to the command staff as well. But, your faith in all of us and for the opportunity for us to be a part of the leadership of this agency and the future of this agency. It's hard for me to single out any or all the people in my career that I need to thank. Over almost 22 years of law enforcement, like Sheriff said, I started in 1995. So many people have had a tremendous impact on my future, on my career, and where I'm at today. Some of those people are here today, and I thank them. Some of those people have retired and moved on, and then some of those people are no longer with us. But out of respect for not leaving anyone out, I'd like to say thank you. I'd like to say thank you to those who have been mentors throughout my career, to those who have provided leadership and guidance throughout my career, to those who have been good friends, to those who have been hardworking, loyal, and dependable members of different units that I've had the pleasure of working in or leading, to all my SWAT brothers, to each and every one in this agency that makes it such a great agency. I say thank you to you all. To all the others that are being promoted this morning, I want to say that I'm very proud and humbled to be part of such a group. I've had the privilege to work with almost each and every one of you in some form or fashion, in some capacity. I've been around you and been a part of your work ethic, and you're all very talented, dedicated, and passionate about the job, about serving our community, and I look forward to working with you all in the future. So these last two things are the ones that get me a little bit. But we'll try to make it through. One of them, though, I had to, is not really on my paper here, and the sheriff brought up the story of Chris and I. And then Chris gets up here and talks, and Chris is a great speaker, too, by the way. He doesn't need paper and all that. He's very good at it. He is the worship leader at our worship team, one of the worship team leaders at our church, so he has a little more practice. But Chris is very humble. In his speech, he attributed everything to the people he worked for, and that is true. And that's who really gets the job done. But I have to say about Chris, that night that the sheriff was speaking of, I was actually off that night too, and there was a road supervisor that night that ended up calling, and I think he called me because he didn't know who else to call. And he knew that I was part of Westside Church. So he calls, and the sheriff gave you the story, but I immediately picked my phone up and called Chris, because Chris, I knew he could get this done with Westside, and I knew Shanna. So let me tell you what we did. We had 30-something Boy Scouts, I think. We didn't have a vehicle. So one of the first persons I called was Chris. Chris's reply is always the same. You'll recognize this phrase. But his reply is always, whatever you need. Chris also married Ginger and I. I can't look at you, sorry. But anyway, I say all that to say, if we all serve with that selflessness, if we all have that servant attitude, that whatever you need, imagine what we can do as an agency. So Chris, there's a lot more to Chris than just the humbleness you see there. And I'm very proud to share this day with him. And then lastly, I have to mention my friend Charlie Scavuzzo. I think I held it together at the funeral better than today. But Charlie was always a mentor to me, And everybody here pretty much been promoted. I know had some dealings with Charlie, and he was mentors to all of you guys as well. He saw the potential in us, and he always encouraged us to be better than we ever thought we could be. So, I think that we have to recognize Charlie today. I know he's here. I know he's smiling at us and wishing us well. Can't look at you either, Tanya. Sorry. But the future of our agency is bright, and I thank you all for being here. Thank you.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention Tanya, who's here with us, who's Charlie's wife, who we lost way too early. When I started this morning, I told you there was a common theme on these 10 individuals. Their focus on education and training, their enthusiasm, if not passion, for the job, and lastly, their commitment to serve within and throughout our agency and our community. And I think you'll all agree these 10 individuals are truly awesome individuals, and I want to congratulate you all again. Fantastic stock. And yes, our agency future is very bright. I want to thank you all for coming today. I'm going to have our chaplain close out today's ceremony. And families, remember what I said. They need you now more than ever, and so do I. So keep plugging along, keep supporting them. Chap, come on up and send us off.
As we close today, I'm reminded of a phrase the sheriff had at a clergy appreciation luncheon a couple years back. He said, "We're better together." And that seems to be the theme today, doesn't it? We're just better together. Father God, we do thank you for these awesome people that we've recognized. It's no accident they're here today, because they're part of an awesome family with awesome friends and colleagues. And we thank you for the wonderful opportunity that you've given each one of them and each one of us to be part of an awesome agency that's tasked with an awesome responsibility to serve and protect this community. Thank you for everyone that's here, our sheriff, our command staff, our chief, and as Chris said, our colleagues, the people that we partner together with, that we couldn't do what we do without them. So although we're recognizing these 10, we just thank you for this wonderful group of men and women that you've called to serve this community for such a time as this. And just be with us during this holiday season. Let us take a little bit of time when we do have that to love our families and let them know how much we appreciate them, Lord. And as Brian said, it really is your amazing grace that makes it all happen. And again, we're grateful and amazed for that. We just pray this prayer in your holy name. Amen.
Again, thank you for sharing your time with us today. God bless you all. Have a Merry Christmas, a Happy Holiday. To the ones being promoted, if you come up for a group picture before you leave, and be safe.